In order for you to get in my opinion, my humble opinion, in order for you to be a grandmaster, you actually have to be certified by another grandmaster, kind of like carpentry, because it's really like heavy lifting and a lot of technical stuff. So it's not like something that you can accomplish simply by studying and taking an exam. You actually have to kind of demonstrate it. But the idea is that this is the first thing that the prompt compass that we've kind of identified and we've come to, is to say that we need a way to measure how well you can measure yourself against a stick to say, how good am I doing in prompting? Like, what level am I at? And then the second thing that we did was to create kind of along those levels, kind of like a series of exercises and explanations to start walking you through that particular level. To say, if you're an apprentice, you need to be kind of covering these things and trying these types of prompting and so on and so forth. So these two things, you're going to find them on this sheet. It is not simplistic, it's just simplified, right? We try to consolidate and we try to simplify the approach so that it becomes more palatable and more accessible to the people that are using the Prompt Compass guide. So download this Prompt Compass. Also, I've given the document to Hazar, so she's going to make it available on the Learning Commons, which is accessible to all the observer and paid members of the Academy. You'll be able to download it from there at any time that you want in the future. And we're going to actually dive in and start looking at ChatGPT. And I want to before we dive in, I just want to kind of further drive the point home because I was speaking with someone today and they asked the question, what is prompting? And, where did they come up with the word prompt? I'm not really sure where it came from, like the actual term prompting, but in a simple terms, think of it about, if you think about ChatGPT or Grok or all of these models that we talked about, they've done a lot of training, millions and billions of records that have gone through, from text to images to video to audio. There's so much that they got trained on. And this model now is ready for you to use it, right? To leverage it. How can I become more productive using this large language model, right? That's prompting. So the idea of asking questions and asking the right questions and structuring your questions correctly will be able to will give you a better output from these models, so you can get like relevant and valuable data or information back, right? And the one more point before we dive in, think about taking a physician, a nurse, a dietitian, a coach, an engineer, a mechanic, like all the human experience. Imagine if you can take all of that human experience and all that knowledge that has been shared by these people on the internet. And by the way, this includes Mayo Clinic, Harvard Business School, the US government, the Egypt government, you name it, like all that information that was published ever on the World Wide Web is now, and the knowledge of these humans is now all consolidated into this large language model, and it's available at your fingertips. And if you're using the ChatGPT 5 version, I think it's equivalent to, I can't remember what they said, like a human with 7 PhDs. So you can imagine how valuable this can be if you know how to use it and leverage it to your own strategic benefit or gain, if you will. Any questions before we dive in? All right. So if I quickly share my screen, I'm going to show you you should be able to see a window now with you can go to OpenAI. If you go to, it's very simple. You can just go to chatgpt.com. I'm going to show you a couple of we're going to focus on ChatGPT, and as a way to baseline this, you can take these techniques to any large language model. It doesn't matter. The things that we're going to cover today are applicable in Perplexity, in Claude, in Grok, in whatever that you decide to use. So this is, if you go to chat.openai.com, or simply chatgpt.com, it takes you to this interface, right? I'm just going to show you a couple of other examples. Perplexity AI, I guess, is another interface similar, like a ChatGPT. You can see all of them have this prompt, they have this box called the prompt box, where you start asking it questions. If you go to Claude AI is another model. If you go to Grok, I'm assuming it's .ai. This is the model from Elon Musk. Oops, no, I guess Grok.com maybe. Or is it GrokAI.com? Yeah, GrokAI.com. You can go to, you guys get the idea, right? You can go, like, all of these are the same, it's, the same technology of using large language model and algorithms to be able to consume the data that's on the internet and be able to train it and then, remove biases and give it, proper tweaking so it can be used by all of us. Now, Skipper's question is a very good question about having a paid account or not. So almost all of these models do not require that you pay. However, our advice from the consulting lab, and we don't get incentivized by anyone, by any of these systems, that you get a paid account. And my argument always, guys, it's like $20. That's like 3 cups of coffee. It's not a big deal. And the reason for getting a paid account, and I'll show you, is that I'm going to really focus on ChatGPT. You need to do your homework on the terms and conditions, because in ChatGPT, you can turn off train on my data. So if you upload your own documents, one of the biggest stumbling blocks that people see from working with these models, well, I don't want to have my health data. I don't want to have my financial information. It's a valid concern, and we agree. You don't want to be just willy-nilly giving away private information. But if you create a paid account, and you say, do not train on my data, then in the terms and the conditions, they commit that your data will remain private, just as if you're using Google Cloud or Amazon or Microsoft or whatever, and they will not train on your data. So there's no chance that anyone would be able to see it. So we highly encourage and recommend that you should not be using personal data until you create a paid account and read the terms and conditions, because I think the last time I checked, I could be wrong, but Grok will train on your data even if it's a paid account. So you have to be comfortable, and it's well worth the effort, guys. Trust me, it's well worth the effort for you to go through the terms and conditions, make sure that you're happy and you're comfortable with it, and then find the model that best sits with you. You're going to find that the model for people that are day-to-day productivity, that are not specialized, ChatGPT, Perplexity, as well as ChatGPT, Perplexity, Copilot, and Gemini. Gemini is from Google. They're going to do a good job in everyday to-day tasks. Claude from Anthropic is more focused on working for creating code for developers. So it's trained. It has a higher level of training and attainment on generating code for the web and applications and mobility and this and this and that. But the more generic ones are going to be the ChatGPT and the Perplexity and the Geminis and the Copilots. Okay.